Do you ever get those days when you're just massively grumpy? Well, today is one of those days. What about you? I didn't actually think I was as grumpy as I am until I started to speak to human beings. I went to pick my son up from school. We live in the country, and I was driving along the back lane, and I could see a van coming, flying along, and I'm hugging the inside as close as possible, and I could see he was still sort of drifting out. There's no line in the middle. I'm boring myself with this story already, but I've committed, so I'm going to finish. So anyway, he hit my wing mirror. I thought, for fuck's sake. So I could see in my, well, not my wing mirror, my rear view mirror, that he had stopped. I stopped, and I got out and had a look at mine, and it was, hit in, but actually there was no dent on it, no marks, no scrapes or whatever. And he got out and he did something really clever in a way, really confident, which was like, has it done any damage? Like in his UV and all this stuff. Has it done any damage? Which communicated to me, this is pattern recognition, and I haven't thought about it until I'm now making this, right? So if you're ADHD, you might follow or you might not. But anyway, the fact that he said that, did it do any damage, communicated to me so much. First of all, my perception was I was going to get out of the van and be aggressive, because there's no marking in the middle of the road. So was it me too far over, him too far over? And I was preparing the line. I'm fucking hugging the grass here. And, even where I've stopped and where he stopped, one of us is closer to the grass verge than the other. Then I was preparing that he was speeding and blah, blah, blah. But he got out and he went, did it do any damage? Did it do any damage? Means he was interested in my damage, not his first, which communicated to me that as a minimum he was neutral. So he wasn't saying, you hit my wing mirror, and he was doing an argy-bargy. Then he said, did it do any damage? Which communicated to me that if it had done any damage, if I said, yes, that has done damage, that there was going to be a reasonable conversation about that. Because did it do any damage means, in a way, he was accepting the liability for that. He wasn't messing about. He was up for that kind of chat, up for that kind of conversation. And I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but all of that verbal and non-verbal and that structure of that meant that I was chilled out a bit more, actually, and I was looking for damage, and there wasn't any damage. It was bent round. I bent it back, I pushed the button to see could it do it itself. It did. I was like, no, there's no damage, no worries. I got back in, he got back in. I thought he handled that really well. It was a really interesting, did it do any damage? 6 words. Changed the whole dynamic. Anyway, there's an ADHD rabbit hole for you that I didn't think I was going to talk about. Anyway, I wrote a Substack today. So LinkedIn is where all the professional stuff lives. Substack's where all the academic, deep, thinky, raw stuff lives. Writing stuff lives. I wrote it about ADHD. Funnily enough, hitting every branch on the way up, I've called it, because it's that taking the hard road, and really it's a love letter to people who have children who have ADHD, and to the child, in that sort of to each other, and for me to my inner child, because I'm in therapy. Can't remember if I've said that already. I'm really enjoying it, actually. I'm seeing a brilliant clinical psychologist, because I'm at a stage where I want to. I've got children, and you go through life and you pick up all your baggage, don't you? So you don't have to be in crisis to be in therapy. Although if you are in crisis, therapy is the best place for you to be. But I'm at that stage where I'm looking to just make sure that I'm not carrying any of that baggage forward into my parenting, and it's really, really helpful. And it's layered, isn't it? Because whether you have ADHD or you have, different forms of trauma or different life experiences or backgrounds or whatever, unpacking all of that, for want of a less bullshitty term, is really healthy, and it should be mandated. Why was I telling you that? Oh yeah, because the articles. So I'm writing the articles as I'm in the therapy, which is really helpful, because I've always said I wanted to sort of document stuff when I'm in it, when I'm doing it, and I never do. So even if I find it cringe later, the fact that I've done it is all that matters. Anyway, I put a TikTok video up saying, actually that's a lie. I put a TikTok video up about something I put out on LinkedIn, because it's Pride Month. Good old Pride Month. And I did this piece about corporate pride versus pride as a process. And we had Marsha giving it large from the 1960s, showing us how it's done. And then we had corporate pride. And it's really this comment on, we couldn't be further off the mark from what is needed. Read the room, have a look at the world, look at the state of the place, look at the far right, look at, fascism, look at racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia. Take a look outside. ADHD brain just went 500 miles there from, Proclaimers. Take a look at the rail track. Anyway, all the comments on TikTok were about the fact that the slides had been done in AI. And I've written on Substack about this snobbiness around AI, this ableism actually around AI. AI is the first time, I think, that a tool has met me where I'm at, professionally and in my private life, and it has allowed me to look at projects, look at agents, look at a whole range of the tools within that, and structure the tons of thoughts into coherent plans, strategies, approaches, into red team review them, challenge them, break the idea, literary reviews, research, evidence-based, real-world testing, MVPs. The fact that it's been adopted by every major industry and is embedded in every major industry should tell the folks who are waiting for Terminator to return, which by the looks of it probably will, but it's not stopping me using the tool right now. And this snobbiness around, taking away creativity, it's taking away creative writing, it's taking away authenticity, it's taking away originality. I mean, fuck off. There's no book on the shelf that is the same version that the author brought to the publisher. It's gone through editors, publishers, rewrites, reviews, different teams. There are no products that haven't gone to market research. There is nothing that hasn't gone through layers from its inception as a concept or idea to meeting the market. And so this snobbishness, particularly around writing, is like a total naivety to the fact that you have to work really hard with the tool. If your hang up is that it can write it for you, then the writing is not really going to do the job that it needs to do. But if people are connecting with the words, it's meant that you've wrestled with the tool to make sure that it is a reflection of what you want it to be. And so, getting hung up on AI making the slide versus the message in the slide, I just thought, well, isn't that endemic of everything that's wrong with the world? It's been one of those days. I could bore on, but it's telling me I have 7 seconds left in what's supposed to be this unedited freestyle. So there it is. There you have it.